Okay, guys, so I'm going to show you really quickly how to do the vocabulary portion of the Pride Sheet. You have a couple of options when you're doing this, but basically your goal is to end up with 25 words, okay? And these words need to be related to your novel in some way. So you're going to pick 5 words. These can be words that are actually physically in your book, or they can be words that describe characters or actions or the whole theme. You kind of get to pick here, okay? And then you need to come up with a total of 5 synonyms and antonyms. So that could be 3 synonyms and 2 antonyms for a total of 5. It could be 5 synonyms and 0 antonyms for a total of 5. So again, it's just you're coming up with 5 words, and then you're finding 5 more synonyms and antonyms total for a total of 25 words. Okay, so for example, my character investigates. It's a murder mystery. So synonyms for investigate are probe, look into, and detect. 3. And then antonyms are ignore and assume. So now I'm at 5. For cherish, she cherishes her job. I just went all synonyms: love, admire, appreciate, adore, and revere. No synonyms. For bliss, she's kind of like in bliss because she's like falling in love. 1 synonym: misery. That's the opposite of bliss. And then I did 4 synonyms: joy, pleasure, delight, and rapture. Despair, she is in despair at some points because she keeps finding dead bodies and has to investigate them, and she doesn't really love that. So she's in despair. So antonyms for despair are hope and ease, and hopelessness and distress and pain. Okay. And now modest, I use this word for a couple reasons. But one is because sometimes words have 2 meanings. So modest can be used to describe like size, and modest can also be described like a person or a house, or like, someone's like living. So if your word can have 2 meanings, you need to pick one and stick with it. So for example, if you were to use modest as like describing size, a synonym would be moderate and an antonym would be huge. But I'm using it to describe her. She's modest, right? So she's unassuming, humble, unpresuming, and low-key. And the opposite of that is entitled. So you have to pick. So notice I used these and I crossed them out. You don't need to do that. You just, I did that for your benefit so that you see your meanings have to all make sense. Okay. Now, that's called a vocabulary tree, which I'm not totally sure why, because this does not look like a tree, but that's what they call it. That's a vocabulary tree. So then the other way you can do this, and you can do this either on paper or in your Google Drive or Google Doc if you want, is you can draw a synonym and antonym web. And so basically you just draw 5 webs, 1 for each word, and you put your synonyms on one side and your antonyms on the other. If you can color code it, great, but you don't have to, okay? So for example, I've got investigate, cherish, bliss, I think that's despair, and then this is moderate or modest, okay? And notice I have all my synonyms on one side and all my antonyms on the other. Same words off that list, so it's the same thing, it's just what you prefer to do. I will say that if you handwrite, just make sure I can read it, because if I can't read it, it doesn't exist. Okay. And again, you could do this in Google Drive, or Google Docs, but you're going to have to go into insert drawing and then create it all and insert text boxes. So it's up to you, but I wouldn't. If you're going to do the web, I would do it on paper, and then you can just leave it with me. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions. I will say one little trick. If you're getting to the point where you just don't you're like, I've got 4 words and I just can't think of another one. You could always think of an antonym or a synonym for one of the words you've listed. So delight, let's say I just could not think of a 5th word for bliss. I could do the opposite of delight if I could figure it out, or the opposite of pain if I needed another one for despair. So just a little trick to kind of help you out. All right. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye, y'all.